What's your name?
My name is Jasmine.
Your name is Jasmine?
Yes.
Jasmine, my name is Ken.
Nice
It's
to
nice to
meet you,
meet
Ken.
you. So, Jasmine, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Um, I am from Florida.
You're from Florida?
Yes.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jasmine. But what
How
part of Florida?
appalling. I am from Fort Myers, Florida, to be exact.
Oh, definitely. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's crazy. We're not friends anymore.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm from Florida. I moved to Texas because I just wanted a bigger scenery. So
I mean, but you're from Florida, right?
Right.
You could have moved anywhere else in the states, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had Utah, you had Minnesota.
why would I move from one hot place to a cold one?
I don't know because
is
maybe
diabolical.
you want something different, So
I'm comfortable right here.
no, but what made you choose Texas for real?
Because of the culture. It has such a diverse culture.
Yeah.
And as a business owner and as a minority individual, I see a lot of us doing great things here. So it inspired me to pack up and come and give Houston a try.
Now you said that you own a business.
I do.
So is it like a strip club or is it something?
No.
Okay.
I am a service provider. I am a loctician.
A loctician?
Yes.
Okay. I used to have long hair, so maybe
You
you
did?
could have done my locks
I
back
could have.
then. Yeah,
If you ever
coulda.
want to grow it back, let me know.
So it take a long time. I had it 5 years grown out,
Yeah.
and then I gave it the big chop,
You
Yeah.
sound like me.
That's what you did too?
At least twice.
So you had lots.
Uh-huh.
So you were like walking around like Erica Badu. And so
Very
for somebody
ethereal.
like for somebody like you, what made you want to do that?
Personally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a go with the flow type of person, and locks are easy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't require as much manipulation as allowing your hair to freely exist.
Just do his thing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So for me, it fit my schedule, but outside of that, I just got to exist with them.
You got to exist with them.
Yeah.
And
I
so
didn't feel the need to fit a certain standard.
but you didn't have that attachment because when you grow your hair out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get attached to it, and now it becomes your identity basically. So you didn't have that attachment to your hair.
I didn't.
Oh my God.
I've actually had 2 sets of locks.
Yeah.
The first one I cut, the last one I combed out, and each time I grieved it sparingly, but for the most part, I feel like it'll grow back. So what am I holding on to it for?
What is that sense of being so, I don't know if I should use the term free-spirited in that situation, but where does that sense of just going with the flow comes from?
Personally, I believe it comes from the fact that we only have one life to live.
Yeah.
And if I sit and dwell on things like hair that can typically be out of my control,
Yeah.
I'm allowing myself to fester and worry about things that don't really serve me in a sense. So I realize that some things in life we can control and some things we can't. And my hair, technically I can't control it.
Right.
But there's certain times where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let it do what it wants to do.
So being in Florida, growing up in Fort Lauderdale, you said?
Fort Myers,
Fort Myers, the worst fort.
crying.
Fort Myers. So how do you end up in Fort Myers, and what was it like growing up in Fort Myers?
Well, I was born and raised there. My
Yeah.
family's lived there for generations. And I guess nobody took the courage or the leap of faith to leave. So I was born and bred there. But outside of that, it's more so a smaller city. So everyone knows everyone pretty much. And
Yeah.
I just felt complacent there. I didn't feel the room for growth.
When did you start feeling like, I don't know, like, I mean, because this is all you know, right? Then it's all you know. There isn't really a inclination to like want more if this is all you know to an extent, right?
Yeah.
So when do you remember where you had that first spark of, or that first itch of like, I might want to start looking for something greater than what I have here?
Well, I say that subconsciously it's always been in me to aspire to reach greater.
Yeah.
But I'd say it came to the forefront more so in like my mid-20s, maybe 24, 25.
So you're 45 right now.
Absolutely not. I'll be
Okay.
30 this year. I'll be 30 this
I'm kidding. You do
year.
not look 45. Let
Well,
me just.
thank you.
Yeah.
But
I would say 42-ish around there. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's
But
crazy. I used to tell people I was 40.
they would believe you?
They wouldn't.
Okay.
It was worth it, though.
Obviously. Anyway.
But yes, I'd say about 25. I don't know if it was a prefrontal cortex thingy or just full development, but I just realized that I wanted more. And I self-assessed and looked at the environment around me and realized that people were okay with the bare minimum and I wasn't. So
What made you different? Because as you said, your environment they're conforming.
it's conducive, yeah.
So what made you not be okay?
Honestly, looking back, I can really say I've always been different. I've never fit the status quo or fit in to, everybody else's standards. So I've always had different aspirations, different goals, different things that I found interesting. And I think that's one thing that I realized that's when I realized that I was set apart and realized that I wasn't okay or comfortable just staying in the midst of an environment just because I was comfortable there.
So you were afraid around this time? Because at the same time you're making this move, right? When you decide to come to Texas. What does fear mean to you? That's a big, huge move. Or do you have family here in Texas?
I don't.
And so it's a bit taking that big leap of faith.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you in facing these emotions and thoughts?
So I wouldn't say that there was fear involved as much as there was a little bit of uncertainty because I orchestrated the move and everything in less than 5 months. So for me, it was just like my ability to reach the sky is the limit. Like I've never limited myself, and this move proved to me that I was capable of doing great things. And granted, there are times where fear has me in a chokehold, but I realized that once I set my mind to something, I'm able to accomplish anything. So I never let fear stop me.
Yeah.
But granted, I also didn't reveal my plans to a lot of people because a lot of the times the fear that we experience is projected fear. It's not something that we own. It's something that...
Can you explain that?
So I personally, when I'm planning big moves, I limit who I tell because people have subconscious ideations and fears that they deal with themselves. And if you allow them to, they'll project those things onto you.
How so? How would they do it? Like just a little example.
For example, when I did expose that I was moving a week before I moved, I heard everything in the book from you don't know anybody there to Houston's big on trafficking, like you're not scared or things of that sort. So if I would have allowed those opinions and those ideations to affect me in the beginning of me planning this move, I probably would have never made it here. Just based off of worrying about what everybody else thinks or what everybody else is expecting to happen to me. And I realized that some things are better left unsaid because your aspirations may not be my aspirations and like vice versa. So understanding that it's important not to allow other people to hinder you from reaching your goals.
What about when you hinder yourself? How have you hindered yourself?
Ooh, that's a good one. I've hindered myself more ways than not. I do have a tendency to play small.
Play small?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like shortchange myself as in like not fully applying myself, sometimes out of fear, sometimes out of just subconscious thoughts, because whether we know it or not, the things that we've been conditioned to think about ourselves they play a big role in our decision making.
Sure.
So learning not to allow trauma or subconscious thoughts to control what is my reality and my present, that's been something that I've been learning diligently within the past year or so, is to bet on myself. And ultimately, why not? Like, I moved here, so what else am I capable of?
What would you say you're capable of that you've proven to yourself within these last few years, within 30 years?
Within 30 years? Well, a good majority of those 30 years, I was a child.
Right.
But I'd say within the last 10 years, as an adult, I've proven that I'm capable of more than I actually realize. In a sense where when I put my mind to something, for instance, getting back in school, it was intimidating at first to think about being in class with 18, 19-year-olds, but it was something that I wanted to do for myself and something that I felt I owed myself. So I took a leap of faith to just go for it. And so far, it's been working out in my favor.
So with self-doubt, do you just face it head on?
I've been learning to. I've been learning to talk myself out of it because, like I said, a lot of the doubt that we deal with is our subconscious thoughts.
Yeah.
It's not that we're not capable. It's somewhere along the line somebody has allowed us to believe that we have to doubt ourselves or we're not capable of reaching whatever it is that your aspirations are. And once you remove everybody else's voice from you and listen to what's inside of you, you'll realize that you weren't limiting yourself. You were allowing other people to limit you in the process.
Who allowed you personally to believe that you weren't capable of something or just anything that you wanted to accomplish?
I'd say more so the subconscious thoughts that I've been trying to overcome. I believe that they typically come from just family, friends, being younger, being different, not fitting the status quo. People have a tendency of wanting you to conform to who they want you to be.
Right.
And once I realized that I'll never be that person, I started to look deep within and find out who I really was, who I knew myself to be. And I think that's been the biggest transition within this last year that I've experienced, is shutting out the noise and really just honing in on what I'm capable of, or what my aspirations are, or where I see myself going.
Who were you supposed to be?
Well, I don't know if you are a man of faith, but I am. So I believe that I have a purpose out here that is bigger than myself. A God-given purpose, and I believe that I am here to not only love people like Christ has loved me, but outside of that, I'm here to serve, I'm here to lead, and I'm here to uplift other people in whichever way that I'm able to do so. So in the terms of black and white, that has no set image for me, but I'm learning to surrender and submit to allowing myself to be used in ways that benefit not only me, but other people.
Why does it matter to be of use and benefit other people? I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit. Caring about people that wouldn't necessarily, if the shoe was on the other foot, give a care about you.
Yeah. And that's a heartfelt question, because sometimes as humans, we're so quick to worry about ourselves and not worry about other people. And I've realized that serving is something that's near and dear to my heart. So whether I'm able to benefit in the end or not, it's something that I have no quarrel with doing, because at the end of the day, I'm not losing anything. If anything, I'm gaining. I have everything to gain, whether it's a lesson, whether it's a blessing, whether it's just a smile. being able to make somebody else's day, it makes me feel good inside. So ultimately, I guess you can say, in a way, it can be self-centered, but I'm not doing it because I want something in return. I'm doing it because it just makes me feel good.
Who did that for you?
Uh, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out.
Really?
I am.
Why? Like, how so? Why? How is it this something that you're still trying to figure out? Are you telling me that you've never had anybody just pour into you and give into you without the expectation of nothing in return, or just from a genuine, loving place?
Um, Besides my mother,
Yeah.
I really, or just maybe my siblings, but outside of that, no, because I'm typically the person that everybody else comes to.
How do you personally feel about that? As you recognize it and say it out loud.
I've struggled with it for some time. I really have. But recently, I've just learned to take my issues to God, because ultimately, who knows? He may have put me here to be that voice, to be that listening ear for others. But I realize that I can't harbor resentment because, I'm not receiving the same thing in return.
Okay.
Granted, would I like the opportunity to do
Right,
so? Yes,
right.
I'm human, so I do believe that reciprocity is important.
Is that fair to you, though? At the end of the day, right?
not.
It's so to tell yourself that it's okay. Is it really okay? Or is it just something that you just say just so you can keep a sense of your peace of mind, or some type of peace within you, and not live in a bubble of anxiety, but like, truly, is it really okay?
In the sense of keeping peace,
Yeah.
yes, but truly, no, because it's something that I've struggled with. It's something that I've had to learn not to be resentful about. And granted, I'm an empath, so I feel
Very
wholeheartedly.
sensitive, yeah.
I feel everything, and to not always be allotted the ability to have that in return, sometimes I struggle with it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, it's life. I've learned.
Life doesn't got to be like that, though.
Yeah.
We human beings, we make some decisions that unfortunately ends up hurting others, which isn't okay.
Right.
And your cup should be filled too. Your needs should be met too. Obviously, like you said, you're sensitive, and you come off as a person who is always looking for everybody else's comfort.
Yeah.
And I think that you are still a human being. You're not you're not a machine, and
Yeah.
you're not somebody who doesn't have emotions too. Your cup should be filled as well. So, being away from family, you said that your mother was kind of like the one that would pour into you, some of your siblings as well. What about in relationships? What is a relationship? Well, what has dating treated you like in the past?
That's been a roller coaster.
Right. It always is.
Typically, because likewise.
No.
I'm not gonna say we are what we attract, but I'm honest enough to realize that I do attract individuals that.
Let me guess. They need fixing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I understand.
I don't like that for myself, because
Yeah.
then I have to stop and self-assess and wonder, is it something about me that I'm projecting, or an aura that I'm giving that allows people to feel as if, I can save them or I can fix them. Because granted, I do believe that I have a certain energy about myself that attracts people.
Very soft and very gentle. Absolutely.
Very. And with that being said, it would be nice to not have to be that anymore, which is why I've just stepped away from.
No. I have to disagree with that. I hate to hear that. I hate to hear you personally say that. And I'm going to be very sincere with what I'm about to say. It kind of sucks and we as human beings, we do the best that we can in order to survive,
Yeah.
you know, and it's kind of like not having knowledge on how to heal an injury or a cut. And we just Frankenstein some stuff to make it like feel
Yeah.
better and heal it
You
the best way we
doctor
can.
it, yeah.
But as you doctor it, thank you, you end up leaving a whole bunch of scars and, you know,
Yeah.
a little bit of an infection that takes some time to go away. Nobody should have the power, right? These people, you have people that suck that come into our lives. And unfortunately, we give them the ultimate power and influence of changing us forever, even though they're in our space for a limited amount
Yeah.
of time.
Oh,
And that's not fair to you. You know, I think that that's not a reflection of you personally. If somebody does that or comes short or mistreats the love and compassion that you have, I think that's just a reflection of them. You should be your way. This is who you are.
Yeah.
This is who you choose to be. This is how this is when you move like that, it fulfills you.
Right.
And so if somebody's not capable of receiving that type of love and appreciating that type of love, that just means that they need to be removed. It doesn't mean that you need to change yourself as a person,
You're right
because
about
they're
that.
gonna go by and live their life and forget about you and do whatever stuff they got. But they change you, and they're not even an influence in your life anymore, but you choose to keep them as an influence, their memory, even though they're long gone. And so that's why I disagree that you should personally do that. I mean, who's to say that the damage or the lack of love that you could give because you let a person change you like that, and then you meet a person that can genuinely receive it and give it back to you, but now you're incapable of giving it to them because you built these walls around you that, you know, have stopped you from giving the right person that love.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that,
Yeah.
because whether I want to admit it or not,
Okay.
me taking a step back from the dating scene, I do believe that that might be where I am right now.
Where?
I don't know if I'm able to of receiving the
How do you
the
figure that out?
reciprocity, because I don't want to I'm never gonna say that I'm emotionally unavailable.
Sure.
But in a sense, I'm tired. Like,
Exhausted.
I'm tired
Yeah.
of the same thing. So
I understand.
I've chosen to just, I don't know, just be single.
Why not just have a little bit of wisdom within how you move in dating? And what I mean by wisdom is knowing what the things to look at, and then just being more selective is what I'm saying. So you don't have to change,
Right.
but if I see something like an inconsistency or behavior, I write it down. And then I come into the picture and I say, if it needs to be said, I bring it up. Conversation, communication. And then if that person cares, then they're gonna shift. They're not gonna do what is harming me emotionally.
Correct.
But if they don't change, then that is clear-cut confirmation, because at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words.
Very much
So that's
so.
clear-cut confirmation that I can let them go, and they're just not a good fit for me, and that's cool, you know? So why not just proceed that way and just kind of like not be a punch? I'm not saying you're being a punching bag,
Right.
but a lot of times we just kind of like run into the situation. We feel like an obligation to the person of some sorts, and so we let them push us to our limit until we can't anymore. And then we get moved on to the next person, but we've already been squeezed out,
Right.
and we do need a
You're
recharge.
jaded.
Yes.
You're jaded.
Are you jaded?
You coming in hot. I'm not gonna say that I'm jaded
Uh-oh.
because I don't know. Even the last experience that I had,
How long
I
ago
chose
was this?
February.
February? Okay. Been some time now.
Yeah. I just chose to walk away from that because, like you said,
Yeah.
the boundaries were not aligning, and I realized certain red flags that I wasn't willing to associate myself with. Granted, I
He was
did
doing heroin?
no.
Okay.
Absolutely
Cocaine?
not.
He was a
No,
cocaine guy?
no. That's a little extreme. That's a little extreme.
Oh, he was a methamphemetine guy.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well.
No drugs, no hard
Oh,
drugs.
okay. Okay.
Hard drugs are crazy. But no. there was just too many inconsistencies
Okay.
in his actions compared to his words.
Sure. Like
So-
what were you seeing that were the biggest major issues with what you had with him?
I felt like he was running from something, but he wasn't being completely open and honest.
He was running from something.
Yeah.
Like what? Like from the law?
No.
So he was doing methamphetamines.
Granted, I don't know. We
Okay.
never made it that far.
Nobody
but
knows. Okay. Mhm.
His story is his story.
Sure,
but
sure.
nevertheless, he was older, so I felt as if with you being the age that you are, certain things about your actions and your words should align, and they just didn't.
So now, have you given up on love? Have you given up on dating, or where? Because you say you've been taking a break, right?
Yeah.
And that you're tired. So have you given up on love?
I don't think I can ever give up on love in a sense, because I love love, but I've taken love off a pedestal, if that makes sense in my life.
What do you mean by that?
It's not something that is as important to me right now in this season of my life. Not to say that if it happens, I'll be against it, but at this moment, I'm not necessarily looking for it.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's just not as high on the pedestal in my life as it was.
And does that make you sad, or are you indifferent to that realization?
Um,
Because you seem like a lover's girl.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I really am. So, I don't know. That's my first time really saying that out loud.
That's
So,
real.
it's quite interesting
Whoop-dee-doo.
thinking about how I feel right now. There's a little grievance, but in a sense, I'm content as well.
How can you grieve and be content at the same time?
Because that's the duality of life. There's always two sides to the spectrum. Some things are gonna work out in our favor. Some things might not work just yet. And being that I've grown to understand these things, I'm okay if this season of my life right now does not encompass love.
I like how you say it as a season.
Yes, because seasons change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seasons change. And granted, do I wish for love one day? I do. Because I believe that we were put here to love each other nevertheless, whether that's platonically or through romantic relationships. Nevertheless, I love love. So it's something that I aspire to have one day. It's just not the end all be all for me right now.
What does vulnerability mean to you?
Vulnerability. So, seeing as though I am a person that struggles with vulnerability,
Oh,
in
no.
in the sense that I'm always, like I said, I'm always the safe space for others, not so much as allotted that ability for myself.
Never have time to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so granted, I don't know. It's a little scary to think about, because to experience somebody that allows me to be vulnerable in a sense where I don't feel the reluctance behind it, that's something that I can say that I'm eager to experience one day.
To be vulnerable?
Yeah, to just have a person that I feel that I can just be my full self with. Granted, I haven't received that yet. Besides, like a platonic friendship.
Since you matured in 20, you have not been.
About
So
10 years.
yeah, that's well, you was dating when?
My 20s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So besides a platonic relationship,
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that romantically. So
Do you think that if you experienced it, you'd be able to handle it, or like what I mean is, do you think you'd be able to nurture it, or do you think that you would run away from it and self-sabotage it?
wait with that one.
Because the only reason I ask is because when you don't Well, not
when
to
something
say
is foreign.
we're creatures of habit,
Yeah.
right? And so, human beings, you've already done things that show that you step outside of your comfort zone. But usually, as human beings, we don't like to do such things. And even in dating, if you've been used to a certain type, you want to change it, but that's easier said than done.
Right.
When you're actually exposed to something so different, where you don't know the outcome, where you're a space that is in the unknown, it's very easy to like sabotage it and then
Oh, yeah.
excuse it and just go back to what you
Oh,
know
yeah.
and victimize yourself.
Because change isn't always comfortable.
Correct.
But
So going back to the question, do you think that you would sabotage it or do you think that you would nurture it?
realistically speaking, I think parts of me would want to sabotage, or, I do believe my flight or fight senses would probably kick in a sense.
Okay.
But I believe that that's a two-sided aspect, because if I'm dealing with an individual and I know wholeheartedly that I don't feel the reluctance to hide myself, and
Yeah.
I feel like I can be transparent, I believe that with time I can grow to learn not to sabotage it.
You can grow to learn not to sabotage
Yeah.
yourself. Okay. So how would you deal with that being said? Because the person has to be communicated with, right? They have to be included. How would you go about doing that?
Um,
Do you think that
what,
you would do it?
communicating?
Sure. I mean, are you a good communicator in the first place as far as your emotions are concerned and your thoughts?
I do believe that I am, because I'm a firm believer in allowing myself the space to feel my emotions. Granted, I am also emotionally intelligent enough to know that nobody else is responsible for my emotions, and it's up to me to control how I allow those emotions to manifest. So, with knowing that, I'm not the type to lash out or, do things of that sort. But maybe a little grace from my partner would be nice, in understanding that this would be a new endeavor for me.
Yeah.
To the point where sometimes I might want to flee, but I have to get used to doing the hard things. And sometimes the hard thing is to communicate when I'm feeling overwhelmed, or when I'm feeling, like I can't get my point across. So just having the ability to have that grace extended from both sides, because I'm always pushing for communication, but not only communication, but for comprehension as well, right? So it's important to me to have a partner that allows me the ability to not be perfect, but as long as I'm actively working on, communicating, or where we give each other the space or the situation to communicate our feelings, unscathed, tell our ugly truths, whatever that may be, I'm okay with that. Because I have no problem talking about how I feel if I believe that you're going to consider and take how I feel, at face value, and not try to gaslight me or, demean my feelings because that's not your perspective.
That's right.
So, if anything, I'd say that would probably be the only time where I'd feel the need to self-sabotage. But inevitably, that's showing me that this is not as safe of a space as I thought it would be. If I feel the need to hide myself from you, is this really a safe space?
What's been the biggest project that you've had to work on within yourself as of today?
Well, being a business owner,
Yeah.
and as you asked me before, I am very introverted. So learning to separate business me from personal me has been a great task, because personal me wants to just, blend in, not be seen. I'm okay with just existing. Or, that's what I've conditioned myself to think. But business me needs to approach people. I have to speak up. I have to interact. I have to network. So those are two totally opposite ends of the spectrum for me. Because typically, the most I'll talk to a person is if I really know you. So like the people that know me for real, they get the full
They
crackhead.
get the full
me.
experience. Yeah. Crackhead. I knew it. I knew. I knew there was some methamphetamines involved.
Crying.
Yeah.
But to those that don't know me
Yeah.
in depth,
Yeah.
I am introverted because a lot of people lack substance. And I am not a superficial person. So dealing with superficial people, it kind of, it rubs me the wrong way. So typically around those people, I find myself being a lot more introverted because I see through it,
Understood.
So.
So, the way I like to end these things is always giving the interviewee the floor. And you could say something super deep, or you could say something that is not deep at all. It really doesn't matter. You could just share a thought or an emotion, something you want people to understand in general or understand about you. You got the floor.
So, if I had to say anything as a word of encouragement, I'd definitely say never allow anybody else's idea of you to infringe on who you know yourself to be. Go for it. Never sell yourself short, and push yourself, because you never really know what you're capable of until you try. I'm a prime example of that. This last year has been me showing myself what I'm really capable of, and I can say for the first time in a long time, I'm proud of myself. And yeah, so
There we go.
have a good one.
You got it.
You.